So here we are back in the middle of the 20-day challenge for 20 videos in 20 days. Right now we're in day 5, and today we'll be talking about ProRes Raw. ProRes Raw has been done by me a couple of times already, and I'm hoping that this time around I can bring all of those videos together. The first time around I went through a comparison of 8-bit, 10-bit, and 12-bit and see how they perform against each other. That comparison was okay, but I don't think I touched upon it the way I should have. The other video was the comparison between the 10-bit and the 12-bit and the color profiles and how to capture it, you know, the Luma wave and everything within the Ninja 5. Today, I'm going to go through all of those features, all the accessories, everything you may need when carrying all this heavy loads onto the camera. If you're thinking you can go lighter, please do, but honestly, this is perhaps the best way. Maybe there'll be other alternatives as to brands that you can buy. I just chose small rigs and then I combine everything within that brand. The most important portion of this video is for you to get a white balance card. Each time you shoot a scene, your white balance changes between this little corner, that little corner, behind us and everything. So this is how you do the white balance, and the other side was for your neutral gray. Your neutral gray card needs to be between 40 and 60, for me at least. I've noticed that if I get too close to 30, the scene is too dark and you may introduce noise. How do you avoid a noise? Is by you making sure that none of the blacks are touching zero. If it's only a few little spots, that's no problem. But if you have more than 30% of your shot in the black touching zero, you will have a grainy footage to work with, and maybe the look you're after, maybe not. I do not know how to get rid of grain really that easy without going in too much into the grays. What that means is that your blacks look more gray than they look black. So that's how I managed to control it. Truly, I don't mind it when it goes that direction. It looks more cinematic than anything else, which I like. Before you capture ProRes Raw, you need to change a couple of settings within the Z6. First, you need to go to Custom Menu Settings and then go to C3, Power Off Delay. You want to go back to Standby and set that to Infinity. No limit, which is Infinity. Second, you need to go to the HDMI menu and the setup menu. In HDMI, you want to keep the output resolution to auto. Advanced, you need to go and set it up to full. There's 3 other options. There's auto, limit range, and full range. You want to keep it at full range. Your external recording control, set it to on. Once you have sent your camera into Nikon and gotten it back with a ProRes Raw upgrade, you have this option available. You go here into the ProRes Raw output. You enable it, then you go to output mode and you choose your resolution. Every single time you want to change resolution or your capture mode, you need to come into this menu. There's no other way around. Then you choose what you want to use, and then you have to make sure that you're on 10-bit, and then you just press OK. You get that message on your screen. As soon as you click the focus or the shutter button, this is what's going to happen on the Ninja 5. You're going to get this message. When you get this message, you'll have to just press OK, and that's just letting you know that your camera has been set to ProRes Raw. With the newest update of 10.3, now you need to register your Ninja 5 with Adobe. Once you enter that code, ProRes Raw will be enabled on the Ninja 5. So you just press OK. The Luma wave will look like this. What you see right here, right up in the middle, which is up here on the top thing, that's your gray card. Right now, my gray card is sitting roughly at around 40 to 50. But this is not the right capturing option that we should be in. Press the settings button and then you go to your monitor. In your monitor, you want to set it either to HLG or PQ. Both those options are the best option to capture ProRes Raw. Here you can also see where your blacks are touching. And what's touching zero is here, this little area, and this other area here, and everything else is above zero. You don't want anything touching the zeros at all. Otherwise your scene will have a lot of noise when you're in post-production. This mode works, but if I were you guys, I would be in this mode rather. We go here, and then I'm gonna change to PQ. In PQ, within the Ninja 5, your settings are still at 1000. But when you bring it into Premiere or Final Cut Pro, actually is 10,000. Your dynamic range increases vastly. I'm not sure how much the difference is. It's a much better option since you know that it will capture more highlights. In your Luma Wave, you want to make sure that you stay between 40 and 60. That works for me. If you're shooting higher, you're overexposing and you will lose highlights. As you can see right now, this light bulb right now is pretty much where it's supposed to be. You have a lot of details there and whatnot, so it's working favorably. Now let's take this to the computer and I'm going to show you how to import this into Premiere Beta. We're going to open Premiere Beta now. ProRes Raw capture. Now we have this feature here where it says HDR graphics white. And what I'm doing right now, that this is native right here, okay, at 63, and that's usually I believe for Rec 709. But I'm using this one, which allows you to go even higher. So not sure if this makes a difference or not, but this is what I'm choosing lately. The 381% HGL, 62% PQ. And that's how I start my workflow. As you can see, I've already imported the Ninja file here. And actually, before I move it in, I'm gonna rename it. If you change the file names in the caddy itself, it may cause for it to be corrupt. Once you put the drive back into the Ninja, you may get skippy. 11 minutes, 40 seconds, and that file size is 12 gigs. We go to the master section of ProRes Raw, and that's where you see ProRes Raw source settings. And this is where you'll want to do your main adjustment prior to doing any lumetri color adjustments. So before you start color grading, adjust here. So I'm gonna lower it down. It is not, it doesn't take effect until you let go of the mouse. So once you let go of the mouse, it kind of tells you if you're where you want to be. So I think 1 is where I want to bring it down to. As you can tell as well, the light bulb back here, it's also within specs at -1. And here, I may even push it a little more. Maybe, yeah, too much I think. 1.2, I'm gonna go 1.2. And that's just where you want to be. Now, since I found out about this, I want to do most of my adjustments within the master's file. See, it says master here, and then you have your regular file name. Anything you do within here is universal. Whatever, if any effect you apply to this section will apply to the whole sequence here, regardless of how much trimming and cutting you do, it will still remain there. If you come back to the masters in any one of those clips and do adjustments, it will apply to all the clips within that are the same file name. So that's the great feature which I didn't know about until I've been using this lately. HDR will give me that scale that I was talking about earlier of 10K. So if you want to work in HDR, that's just fine, because when you export it, that's when you actually convert it to whatever it is you want to do. Right now at HDR, it shows me that my highlight here for this guy is still it's quite high. It's probably around 800. You may want to add another lumetri color, but you don't want to add it to the master section as it doesn't allow for masking. So let's delete that and let's go to the actual file where you can start doing individual ones. But if we do it right now while it's still in its whole without cutting, then you can adjust for that right now and it would look something like this. If I lower the exposure, there you go. I brought it under 100. It's all within the specs of Rec 709 now. It has not affected your main masters. Your masters are still here. As you can see, it's still higher. than it is here. Since I put a large feather, you can't tell where the adjustment's at. Since we're still working in the masters, you can see this highlight being way overblown, but here on our main scene is not. So that's a good thing right there. And as you can tell, I'm not adjusting the white balance whatsoever. The white balance is perfect. The white balance works 100% with this scene. Our lumetri scope is still under 100, which is within the specs of Rec 709. And that's the reason why you can see details within the glass of the bulb between the filaments and the exterior of the glass. There's a lot of detail there. And that's how you work in ProRes Raw. I'm going to show you now the export sequence of this. Always click on your sequence and then you go to export media. In media I already have my settings and that's how I like it. Right here you can see 4K, and then I up everything, always my constant bitrate to 150. I always click on maximum render quality and then I queue it up. Media encoder beta also pops up. Let's process this now. At the 2-minute mark, we're roughly at about 60-65% of a 12-minute video. It's done. 3 minutes 20 seconds for this file to export. That's a 12-minute sequence in 1080, upscale to 4K, takes 3 minutes and 20 seconds. So that's my daily routine. Whether it's ProRes Raw or any other format, the process and the setup is the same. The only thing that changes is the content. And with that, I'll see you next time. See ya. What was I thinking? I have a set goal to accomplish. Rest can happen right now. I need to finish this goal. I should be back in here.